As you know from previous work we've done in class, the straw never really breaks the camel's back. Thinking back to our work with Alphonse the Camel and that using that analogy, there was many things that caused his death that led up to that singular event. So when we apply that metaphor or that idea to World War One, what I'd like you to gain from this is a much deeper understanding of all the things that went into World War One beginning and it becoming a total war. For this assignment, please complete this introductory assignment where you're going to have to watch this video from the History Channel and answer some pre-questions. When you're finished, continue on to identify the causes of World War I. What you're going to see is that a lot of the things that we've already discussed in class in previous lessons or units are all coming to fruition. They're all coming to a head that are going to be key reasons as to why this war begins. So the first one that you'll look at is militarism, followed by alliances, nationalism, and imperialism. Ultimately, there's going to be an assassination, but how does it all come together? All right. Thinking about militarism, I would harken back to our work on Germany with Otto von Bismarck and how a militaristic complex or a belief in militarism started to emerge in European countries and why countries were starting to ramp up production to compete against other countries. The next cause is imperialism. As we looked at imperialism in the previous unit, we saw countries like Great Britain, Germany, France, all competing for land claims or resources as they went to different parts of the world and dominated indigenous cultures. Why were they doing that? How did that increase tension between these countries? How could it have led to war? And what we're going to see happening during this time period in the late 1800s and as we rolled into the turn of the 20th century is that many of these countries began to form alliances. I want you to look at what is an alliance and how did these countries, quote unquote, have each other's back? What were the ramifications, right, of these alliances as things began to heat up? Also, nationalism. We've spent a great deal of time talking about nationalism, whether it was Simone Bolivar in Latin America, Giuseppe Garibaldi in Italy, or Otto von Bismarck in Germany. How can a pride in one's nation, that sense of patriotism that corresponds with nationalism, how can that be a catalyst for war? How can that be a catalyst for unity as well? And last but not least, what was the turmoil that was going on in the Balkans? The Balkans is a region, a geographical area within Europe that had a lot of ethnic, cultural tensions going on. Yesterday in class, I showed you a picture of a political cartoon, the powder keg of Europe, where that keg of black powder was being stacked up on top of firewood and these European countries had their matches. Who was going to light that match that was going to cause this explosion and ultimately it leading to World War I? And last but not least, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Please watch the corresponding videos that go with this section. And when you're finished, you're going to come back up to the top and you are going to complete the chart, giving me a definition of what each of these causes are, and then an explanation as to how the cause contributed to the start of the war. You'll see that you'll have an assignment page. Once you've completed your packet, please, on a separate Google Doc, respond to the writing prompt of what caused World War I. In a minimum of 500 words, list 3 causes and explain the interconnection that contributed to this grave conflict. If you're struggling or need review materials to help you complete the tasks above, please look at what I've listed. There is a crash course video by John Green that provides a more in-depth analysis, followed by a Wikipedia article and a bonus review game so you can practice your vocabulary.